forced out. Yes. She gave me a sympathetic smile.
I know this is a difficult decision, not to be made lightly, but hopefully it will settle some of your fears on your tour of the facility.
It's not that I don't want her at home, I said, frustrated by the way my voice caught. But her doctor says her dementia has progressed too rapidly. She stepped closer and lowered her voice.
There comes a time when you're actually doing your loved one a favor by moving them to a facility. You're fortunate that we have an available bed. We have a very attentive staff here that's on duty 24 hours a day. There are safeguards that just aren't realistic for you to employ at home.
She patted the side of my arm.
But no decisions are being made at the moment, right? You said you were just here to tour.
Yeah.
Shall we get started?
The facility was clean, bright, and cheery. I'd been to depressing nursing homes before, so that made me feel better. Miss Farrow showed me the game room, the cafeteria, the outdoor courtyard, and then the memory care unit. While some residents lived in actual apartments, others had private rooms. The memory care unit was undeniably impressive, with its own cafeteria, courtyard, and fitness facility.
We find that keeping their bodies active is good for their minds,
Miss Farrow said, which started a new cascade of guilt. Should I have kept Aunt Deirdre more active?
This is the room we have available,
she said, moving down the hall toward an open door. The room had a living area, a small bedroom, and a bathroom. The living area and bedroom faced a landscaped bed filled with a mixture of evergreens and bare deciduous plants. It was nice. A phone rang, and Miss Farrow slipped it out of her pocket and glanced at the screen.
I need to take this. Feel free to continue looking around. I'll be back in a moment.
I nodded. Thank you. She walked away, and I moved around the room, trailing my finger over the back of the gray vinyl sofa. This place was the polar opposite of Aunt Deirdre's home, where she'd lived her entire life. I couldn't imagine sending her to live here alone. She'd hate the decor. She loved her vintage furnishings, and this place was very modern. Plus, she'd be incredibly lonely without me, Mallory, and her next-door neighbor, Marguerite. Then again, half the time she thought I was the live-in help my deceased uncle had hired. 2 weeks ago, she'd thought I was a burglar and had called 911 to report a break-in. No, Aunt Deirdre wouldn't be lonely for me. She'd be lonely for Uncle Albert, and my mother, and a whole host of family members who were long since dead. My aunt's mind was burrowing deeper and deeper into the past, and no matter where she lived, she'd be lonely for the people who couldn't be there. Tears burned my eyes, and I hurried back into the hallway. I'd known this would be hard, but not this hard. Mallory had offered to come, but she'd already taken off the day from work yesterday. I hadn't wanted to ask her to take a couple of hours off this afternoon, too. Noah should be here with you. I shut that thought down immediately, both because Noah had made it crystal clear that he was wrapped up in his own issues, and because visiting a residential care center wasn't something you did with your new girlfriend. It was something you saved until you had at least exchanged I love yous, which we hadn't. Even if I did love him. That's what hurt most about the whole situation. While he'd warned me that he ran when he got scared, I'd figured he might need a few days to get himself together, not weeks. Still, I was giving him his space, hoping his therapist would talk some sense into him. In all honesty, Mallory might knee him in the balls if and when he came back, but that was a worry for later. I needed to stop thinking about Noah. This visit was about my aunt, which was causing me enough pain. I didn't need to borrow more. I started down the hall toward the reception area, taking in the decor. I could have been walking down the hallway in an apartment building. There were wreaths and decorations on the doors, nameplates and doorbells. One door was open, revealing a man on a recliner who was staring at a blank TV screen. His head swiveled to face me and he shouted,
"Hey you, girl, come in here."
He was rude enough that I almost walked away.